What is going on, fellow fans of Clash of Clans? Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. Yes, we are covering another Clash of Clans world record. It is iEliteNerdy's Town Hall 6 that is on its way, almost there, not quite, to Titan 2. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, Titan League 2, Town Hall 6. Now, of course, as Clash of Clans has been around for many years now, we're seeing players trying different things rather than just progressing like the game intends. Some would argue this is not how Clash of Clans is meant to be played, and I would agree, but at the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It is actually kind of cool to try something new and different, so why not take a Town Hall 6 and see just how far you can go in trophies. Now, the problem with this is that the old-time records, a lot of the older records for lower town halls will always stand because of town hall sniping. That is gone now. You know, you don't see these external town halls anymore. You see bases like this occasionally. And so I thought it would be fun to kind of go over exactly what iEliteNerdy has been seeing, what he's experiencing, and surprisingly, it's kind of similar to a Town Hall 12 pushing trophies in Legend League. So we'll get to that in just a minute. But yes, so this is the breakdown of what he sees when he's out there hunting. Okay, it's close to 90% Town Hall 9s that he gets offered, around 10% Town Hall 8s, and then just a smattering of Town Hall 7s. And then he just doesn't really see Town Hall 6s because, well, he's the highest one. So yes, it's funny that he's seeing clouds. The reason he's seeing clouds is because the game's algorithm is trying to match him, of course, with similar town halls first, right? It's trying to find him his own town hall, a Town Hall 6. Well, that's probably not going to happen. So it says, okay, let's go look for Town Hall 7s. You don't really see those. So it goes up, goes to 8s, goes to 9s, and eventually, I guess there's enough 9s that have pushed this high that he's finding them. Now, I have a Town Hall 9, and I found it kind of a pain to push even to Champion League. I mean, to get above Champion League, 3,200 trophies as a Town Hall 9, you have to really be focused on trophy pushing and not just casually farming. You have to really specifically be making sure that you're not losing attacks. So that means there's a lot of players, but not that many at Town Hall 9 that have pushed this high. And the reason I say that, you guys ready for this? Okay, iEliteNerdy is playing, he says, an average of 10 to 12 hours a day during the week and pretty much every waking moment on the weekends. Now, what does that sound like to you? To me, that sounds like a Legend League Town Hall 12 trophy pusher. That is the life of a Legend League player. You are in the clouds all the time. And yes, it's true. At Town Hall 6, at these trophy levels, he is in the clouds all the time. He is not seeing a base for hours and hours at a time. It could be 4 hours without a base as he searches for close Town Hall levels. And then there's the matter of having to pass bases. There are certain bases that obviously he isn't going to try. There are even bases where they're set up to give away free loot. A lot of these players will have a similar base in that they're trying to get attackers to just take their loot and leave so that they can push higher. We'll see a pretty funny message base in a couple of minutes that discusses that directly. But these bases, I mean, even a base like this with a town hall out on the edge, if it's a trapped base where somebody has put all the Teslas down there in the corner, for a Town Hall 6, even with a full army, you can be in a heck of a lot of trouble. And it does happen from time to time. So the story here from iEliteNerdy is that he will sometimes 2-star Town Hall 9s, the anti-3-star Town Hall 9s, but very, very few. Town Hall 7s and 8s, he always tries to 2-star them. And then he calls them the Town Hall 7 please help bases. That's where, you know, they're trying to push higher in trophies. He says he can usually 3-star those and occasionally the Town Hall 8 please help bases. But every help please base he tries to 3-star, he does hit a lot of Town Hall 9s, usually for just 1 star. So it's one of these bases that you see where he's grabbed the Town Hall, and now it's just a matter with the Barbs, Archers, and Wall Breakers. Remember, no heroes at Town Hall 6. He doesn't even have a Barb King. He's just trying to pick off those individual structures and trying to get to 50% very, very carefully. Obviously, this isn't spam Barch. You've got to be precision dropping those units. A surgical Barch is more like it. And sure enough, right here, another 2-star. And those are important. You got to remember, when it's hours between bases, and many of them are low trophy offers, and even some are going to be impossible, he's got to get everything he can. And so it's an interesting challenge, and it's definitely something that a lot of players are into lately. You could see here that there is a massive, an absolutely incredible amount of loot that is coming out of these bases, but as a permanent Town Hall 6, or at least a long-term Town Hall 6, he doesn't need it. So here's another one of those please help me bases that Nerdy was talking about. You see he's got all the loot out there, he's got the arrow, and he's hoping that you take his loot and that's it. And a couple of interesting things I observed. First of all, this is not a very well designed please help me base. You'll notice that Nerdy isn't being super careful, super stingy with the units he's dropping at the bottom of the base. And that's really because he doesn't have to worry. He knows those units are going to go right after the Town Hall next, and it's not very well protected. So yes, you could do more to keep your Town Hall, say, on the opposite side of the loot and protect it a little bit better. But then again, also remember that this is extremely rare that you're going to see a Town Hall 6 attacking a 7 or an 8, or a 7 versus an 8, or an 8 versus a 7. More likely on defense, and this is something that Nerdy pointed out that's really interesting, especially since he passed 4,300 trophies. He said before 4,300, he was seeing a lot of defenses against Town Halls that were closer to his, 7, 8, 9s. Once he passed 4,300, there seems to have been a magical door opened, and here come the Town Hall 12s. So maybe we'll cover that in a future episode. The unfair Town Hall 12 versus Town Hall 6 attacks that you used to see more. It used to be really easy to drop trophies and see that. These days, it's a bit harder. The Supercell Clash of Clans algorithm tries to prevent these really unfair matchups like that. So only in extreme cases, and I guess Nerdy has gotten to that point. You got to remember, he is a world record holder now. He's the highest ever Town Hall 6. So there's not going to be other bases for him to find, and he's pushed higher than most current Town Hall 7s, 8s, and even 9s do. So no doubt he's in for a rough time trying to get to Titan 2, but it sounds like, I would have to guess, he's going to make it. I think that he'll probably make it to Titan 2. Titan 1? Legend League? That's going to be tough. But here's somebody who wants to get to Legend League. He's a Town Hall 9. And, you know, credit for the walls. I mean, I like this, okay? I think this is pretty clever. I mean, he could have done a little bit better. I mean, he's got a couple of walls misplaced, but I'm not sure what that's about. But hey, I'm the king of misplacing walls. So again, Nerdy's going to go after the sure thing loot at the bottom. I think he pointed out that after you get the loot structures, you need to get 12 more buildings, roughly 12 more buildings, depending upon the Town Hall level, it varies, in order to hit 50%. So there have been cases where he goes to pick up all the loot buildings, and then he fails against the base trying to get to 50%. But obviously, just like somebody who's pushing in Legend League, that is something that you have to be very, very careful about. Now, it's almost impossible to lose an attack these days at Town Hall 12 unless you're like half asleep or something, if you have maxed out troops and heroes. But down here, you really have to sweat these attacks because getting those last few structures can be a challenge. So help me push to Legend. Not today, says Nerdy. Notice he also brings lightning spells. I thought this was really cool. The idea that the lightning spell can help take out individual structures like the King and Queen's thrones and, of course, builder huts, just in case you're just ever so close to grabbing that 50%, but you need a little bit more help because obviously the other spells at Town Hall 6, pretty much useless. So as we watch Nerdy grab the second star against this one right here, let's take a look at the log. He was kind enough to provide me screenshots of his defense and part of his attacking log. So you'll notice, of course, I mean, this is not really a surprise. You're getting 3-star pretty much every time, and sometimes by massive armies, sometimes by what look like troll armies. Obviously, higher level players don't need to bring huge armies to defeat a Town Hall 6, right? But 9 dragons? What kind of cruelty is that? I don't know. But the trophy losses, surprisingly, are under control. You're not seeing... Now, there's some 1 stars, so, you know, sometimes a little bit of a gift. Nerdy did mention... You guys ready for this? Apparently, there's like a community of players that push at lower level town halls. I know there's a website. I've talked to my buddy RH2 Donator about that. And it's kind of cool because they've got this community, and if he's got a friend who recognizes his base and he finds it, he usually will not 3-star it. Now, they don't ask for the other guy to throw the attack and lose, but it's kind of like this unspoken rule, like, don't 3-star me. Just drop the 1 star and leave. And so that's why you see some of those on his log. On his attack log, you'll notice that it's a grind, man. It is a lot like Legend League. It really is. A Town Hall 12. You're not seeing big trophy offers. And of course, he has to settle for 1 and 2 stars almost every single time. The 3 stars, very, very rare. Here's another Town Hall 9, a please help me style base where all the loot is on the outside. Again, a Town Hall 9 who's trying to push up in trophies, hoping that players are going to take the loot, which he obviously doesn't need. And now this guy has protected his Town Hall a little bit better. So this is one of those cases where Nerdy is just going to go for the loot. And let's watch closely here as the last loot structure goes down. As far as storages, pumps, mines, and drills, he's going to be in the 40s. Now what we didn't see is above and to the right of where I set the game, he had picked off a few more structures with some barbs and archers on the outside that weren't well protected. So now he drops lightning spells on the king and the queen's thrones, their homes. That's a couple more percentage points. And again, it looks like he's going to be fine. He's got a bunch of barbs and archers left, just going for those low hit point structures that aren't very well protected, or just something on the outside, even like a double cannon. Given enough level 3 archers, he will eventually burn through it. So let me know what you guys think. I think it's very cool. I would love to see more players trying this. Let me know if you've done or you know somebody else who is trying something like this, and we will follow Nerdy on his way to Legend League. And thank you guys for following me all the way to the end of the episode. Make sure you get out there, be kind to other people, kind animals, be easy on the environment. I'll see you again tomorrow for more Full Attacks. Man, that was too fast.
Galadon, Titan 2? I'm not impressed. Not a bit. I could do that.